Jason
All right.
Whitney.
Let me make sure all of our recordings are going. We've got the webinar video being recorded. We have the audio being recorded. It is the 22nd day of June and the year 2017. Thank you very much for coming. I appreciate your time, and I will do my very best to make sure that it is not a waste of time and you will be invigorated with knowledge, hope, fact, and maybe even a little bit of inspiration. So what is 3Believe? Just to remind you that may not know, or the rest that may have forgotten, we have been around for 9 years, better than 9 years, a little over 9 years now. And we started out with a metabolic syndrome treatment protocol. That's fancy talk for any person that has high blood pressure, high cholesterol, elevated glucose levels, or already diabetic, fatty liver disease, and just overweight. And a person that has that is all associated to a disease called metabolic syndrome. The reason why all of those are associated to one is because what causes all those that I just mentioned is the same thing. And that is a certain level of hyperinsulinemia. That's too much insulin being secreted by your pancreas, and your body being resistant to insulin. And that causes a litany of problems, and also sister symptoms that we will talk about if you stick around in our relationship. And the list is long and growing longer. And so if you overcome the issue of metabolic syndrome, then you will no longer have those symptoms. I apologize, I got a little distracted. It's after hours here in Salt Lake City, and I got a knock at the front door. I did a little peek, and it was not a peace officer or a fireman, nor the pizza man, so I guess I can ignore that knocking. Back to metabolic syndrome and where we got our start. We started out with our program being sold and offered to doctors and clinics and physicians that were interested in doing more than just prescribing medication to their patients. If you watch TV and watch those commercials where they advertise medication, I always chuckle and cringe at the same time, because half of the commercial is filled with the symptom or the side effects of what will occur when you get this medication. If you were selling any other product and you list all those negative symptoms, I can't imagine anyone ever even buying that product. It is a horrible solution. You take one medication to resolve an issue, actually not even to resolve, but to treat it, to try to lessen the negative feelings and symptoms of it, only to get others. And so we gave an alternative to these doctors, nurse practitioners, health specialists, to treat the symptoms without medication, without surgery, by just simply food. We have a little slogan that we ate our way into the symptoms of metabolic syndrome, and the answer is eating our way right back out. And that's how we overcome it. It's the balance of the macronutrients is the key, and that's where we specialize. And so we took that same technology. We're still doing it. We're still selling it to corporate wellness through the medical profession and through clinics and nurses and specialists, and we love that group. But I feared that we were not reaching enough people. You see, every year over the last 10 years, Americans see their doctors less and less. Last year, the average American sees their doctor, or those that see their doctor a minimum of one time in a year, is 24% of our population. That is horrible. That means that my message is not getting out to the majority. Well, what's the best way to get that message out to you? And then ask and convince you to partner with me in a direct sales type of a relationship, where you tell your friends and family that they don't have to suffer through the things that they're suffering from right now. Because 8 out of the 10 people that you love and know are suffering from every one of those symptoms in metabolic syndrome. 8 out of 10. That's what the CDC says. And so it is a majority. And I'm going to read a testimony of one condition that a gentleman is getting relief from that is not part of the metabolic syndrome. And I will admit, in 9 years, I have never had anyone report that the product that you have in your hands and in your mouth and in your belly, hopefully several times a day, will help in this way. So never at any point will we ever say that we offer a cure, and I hope that you don't either. And but let's just read this testimony. This is to Merv. The gentleman's name is Minister Chaplain Mr. Donald Haynes. Sorry. He said, "Aloha, Merv. 3Believe is a fantastic move in the right direction to correct your entire body, our weight, stamina, willpower, and healing in areas needing it the most. My exposure to Agent Orange in Vietnam," thank you very much, sir, for serving, "ruined my feet, and the dark skin color goes from the top of my feet up to the top of my shin. So it goes just below his knee. The skin has been flaking and turning blacker over the years. He calls it a milkshake. We call it a CMR, a complete meal replacement. The milkshake, and I'll just insert CMR, is causing white skin color spots to appear, which is bringing my feet and legs back to normal very slowly, but noticeably after, get this, only 2 weeks. I have stopped snacking and feel full most of the time. 2 CMRs and a regular meal every day, that is a salad or steamed vegetables with non-GMO ingredients, and desire to want to get out and go and even get back to the gym, as my body is given the signals from the product," he's talking about the CMR, "that I am on my way to a healthier, stronger, and happier lifestyle. Merv, I look forward to sending you my first month report. I have never slept this good in years. 3Believe has made me a believer has made a believer out of me. Every person in the world should be on this product, as we should continue to be happy and healthier as we get older, not getting sicker. Thank you very much. Sincerely, Minister Chaplain Donald Haynes." Thank you, sir. What a wonderful, wonderful testimony. And that's a new one for me. I got to tell you, I'm not familiar with the symptoms and the challenges with Agent Orange. All I know is it's not good. It's not something to take. And please keep me posted. If you're on this call listening, or if anyone knows of this gentleman, please ask him to keep us posted. What a wonderful thing. It's a great thing that we're doing. Is it a miracle cure? No, it's not. Is it a special product from the forest of some deep, dark, hidden place? No, it's not. You know what it is? It's just simply a balance of macronutrients, which is vitamins or proteins and carbohydrates and fats, the finest in the world, I'll tell you, and the right combination of them, and vitamins and minerals. Not just any vitamin and minerals, 100% in every shake, and they're all whole food. They're not synthetic. And you will hear me talking about and get on my soapbox and talk about the difference between synthetic, or what is commonly called all natural, not the same as whole food, vitamins and minerals, and the ones that you're taking every day. There is a enormous difference. And so I'm going to talk a little bit about it. Matters the formulation. It matters how it's made. It matters the origin of the things that we're taking into our body. And so I'm going to get on another soapbox and talk about sodium. I had a person talk about that they shouldn't be taking sodium. And so I'm gonna read a little bit, if you'll forgive me. This was in a newspaper clipping that I just clipped out for my records. And the headline is, this is back in 2013, salt isn't as evil as many think it is. Now, New York lawmakers, if they had been successful back in 2010 in passing a ban on the use of salt to prepare meals in restaurants. Back in 2010, New York tried to ban the use of salt in all the restaurants. Luckily, it did not pass. Had they done that, it would have actually contributed to an increase of heart attack by almost 450%. What, you say? I will read later about a clinical study that actually shows that very thing. So just remember that as I continue reading on. Now, typically, refined table salt has been processed to the point that it's about 97% sodium chloride, with many of the valuable minerals stripped away. The salt's still there, but it's not in its whole form. That's why I give you the whole real salt, sea salt. Not just any sea salt, we'll talk more about that in a minute, but in its raw form. The CDC recently reviewed studies that looked at the health benefits of reducing salt and concluding that reducing it does not have the health benefits once thought, and consuming less than 1 teaspoon a day could do more damage than good to your health. The study found that consuming 1.5 to 3 teaspoons a day won't have an adverse effect on the average person's health. Okay. Let's move on. I'm going to go to some books from PhDs, research scientists have been written on the subject. Regular sea salt is spoiled from the start because much of it is harvested from oceans exposed to environmental pollution, and because it is evaporated in a potentially polluted environment. Real salt, the one I give you, however, is good for you. Real salt is a very specific product. It is mined from an ancient dead seabed, not from a sea subject to environmental toxins like we have out there in the Pacific and Atlantic. An excellent source of organic sodium. Real salt is a key to alkalizing, detoxifying, and rejuvenating, your whole body, written in the book Living Beyond Organic. Now, they mentioned about an ancient dead seabed. There is a mine here in Utah that once was the seabed of Lake Bonneville, prehistoric sea, and it is about 1/2 mile down under the earth, underground. So it shields all radioactive material and fallout that we've ever had in testing. It is not exposed to rain that can bring down toxins and impurities. It's not exposed to wind and that can do the same. It is completely buried and mined. So you get it that is not adulterated in any way. The sightings go on, so just bear with me. You'll see the conclusion here when I'm done. Lack of unrefined salt is synonymous with birth defects, miscarriage, organ failure, premature aging, and death at a younger age. The best source of ionic mineral is an unrefined sea salt or rock salt. Add harvest pure sea salt or salt liberally to your foods, and forget the myth about salt causing high blood pressure. You've heard me talk about that. Salt does not cause high blood pressure. Absolutely, positively, clinically proven. Salt can increase high blood pressure after you already have it, and I'll explain a little bit why that is. The cause of it, going back to the quote, that it causes by salt, that is nonsense. High blood pressure is caused by an excess of other calcium and amino acid deficiencies, as we discussed in length in chapters 2, 3, and 4. The book, The Calcium Lie. In my practice, this is a doctor, I have discovered that the average patient has only 10 to 20% of the normal intracellular sodium content in spite of normal blood tests. That's why I tell them with confidence, based on tissue mineral analysis results, that they're making a big mistake when they boast that they are hardly eating any salt. I call this the sodium lie. Almost all of us need more sodium. These oceans and the sea salt deposits of dried ocean beds, by some miracle, contain a supersaturated solution of all the mineral found in mammals and humans in the perfect balance and concentrations we need for good health, except for sodium. Well, I provide you both in this protocol. In the CMR that you're getting, the shake that you're getting, lovingly called the milkshake, I'm giving you all 72 trace minerals in every single serving. There's not another meal replacement product that has ever done that. And then through the hydrate capsules that I instruct you to take so that your shake doesn't taste salty, you need to take that twice a day. Most of us have forgotten that we came from the ocean. Well, I don't believe that. I'm a Christian, so I'm not a Darwin believer. But let me continue. But when we look at a sperm cell, we see how it consists of 99% water and 1% salt. Looking from this perspective, let's do some quick math. If you're 200 pounds and 1%, that means that your body should have 2% salt in it. If you're not taking any salt, where's that salt coming from? Looking at from this perspective, a sperm cell is just like a drop of the Mother Ocean. Our body consists of the same elements as water and natural salt. Even the ratio of concentration in our blood is the same as that of the primordial ocean. In the book, Water and Salt. After many years of salt being bad-mouthed by ignorant health professionals and their media parrots, the importance of salt as a dietary supplement is once again being acknowledged and recognized. In the book, You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. Here's the one that talks about the heart attacks. When I said about New York, luckily that law didn't pass. This one said, researchers study the relationship between low sodium diet and a cardiovascular mortality, meaning those that take low sodium, and what relationship did it have to cardiovascular health and those that die from cardiovascular event. Nearly 3,000 hypertensive subjects were studied, 3,000 people that had high blood pressure. The results of this study were that 430, pardon me, I said 4.5, increase in heart attack in the group with the lowest salt intake versus the group with the highest salt intake. From the book Salt Your Way to Health. Boys and girls, taking small amounts of salt will not do you any favors. Now, I'm going to explain why that's even more the case when you're on our protocol. So let me side rail for just a second. When you're in a normal American diet, which consists of the average male takes over 400 grams of carbohydrates a day, and when that happens, you're predominantly a insulin producing physiology, meaning your pancreas balances out where it's getting its energy from by the command of two master hormones, insulin and glucagon. And what triggers your body to know when it's going to put in ruling fashion who's the boss, either insulin or glucagon, what controls that kingdom change is what you eat. If you eat a high carbohydrate diet, then insulin's in control. If you eat a lower carbohydrate diet, then glucagon is in control. Okay, well, that's the way we are created. That's okay. That's the way it's supposed to be. They're supposed to, throughout the day, be insulin producing, glucagon producing. Then it goes back to insulin producing, glucagon producing. It goes back and forth throughout a 24-hour day. But that's not what happens. When you're an American, and sadly, too many countries around the world that are mimicking our society and also our eating habits, and as they become more prosperous, they are getting the same results that us sick Americans are getting. like China, or the successful business areas. Mexico, India is the fastest growing nation for type 2 diabetes in the world. Why? Because their inner cities are becoming more modernized and they're making more money. And what do they buy? They buy Kentucky Fried Chicken and McDonald's, processed foods, and it puts them into a higher insulin producing body. Now, here's the point. Insulin is a master hormone. It will tell your kidneys to hold on to the sodium and potassium when you urinate. That's how your body gets rid of. Now, true, there is some sodium that can exit your body through your sweat glands, but not very much. It's not a high ratio. It's not done through your breath, which is where you lose most of your hydration. It's done through the exiting system, the dumping system of your urine. Well, when you're in a high insulin diet or producing diet, that sodium and potassium are held back. Well, they in turn will hold on to the water, right? Because they're water retentive minerals. And that is the primary cause of high blood pressure. It's just you have too much blood and your pressure goes up. That's why. It's not salt causing high blood pressure. It's high carbohydrates that's causing it. You're eating too much of those carbs, and that's what's giving you high blood pressure. So, clinically proven, it's just simple body chemistry. And so when you go on our protocol, we have a very popular report that your blood and urine chemistry of sodium and potassium changes. You start, glucagon tells your body the exact opposite. Now, insulin tells your other organs what to do, not just your kidneys. It tells every single cell in your body what to do. I was just narrowing in on the case of your kidneys. Well, glucagon is the same. It tells all your other systems and cells and organs what to do. It does the same with your kidneys, but it does the opposite. It's yin and yang, night and day. It's the opposite of what insulin tells you or tells it to do. So when you urinate, glucagon, when you're on our protocol, tells you to dump all your sodium and your potassium that it has retained, that your cells and your tissue has not absorbed or metabolized. And that's why you need to replenish it back into your body. Now, if you were in a car accident and were unconscious and had to be zipped to the emergency room, and they weren't able to ask you any questions, so they couldn't ask you, are you a high blood pressure patient? Are you taking medication for that? You could answer, but they don't because you're unconscious. But what do they do every single time? They stick a needle in your arm, and what is in that saline solution? Every single time it is sodium and sometimes potassium. So if sodium is so deadly, and if it is so bad for us, why does the hospital give it to us every single time you go in for a critical care? There's some secret information there. Your body has to have it simply to survive. And so take the sodium pills, take the hydrate pills, and you will feel better. You will respond better. Your body will do better. So let me go back on why I ask you to take the salt that I supply you, because you're not going to lose weight faster. You're not going to necessarily clear up your Agent Orange better. You're not going to lift weight stronger. It's just healthier, and this is why. In common salts, in nearly every single brand that's out there, this is the ingredients that are allowed. They are class 3 hazardous identification by the government. And the list starts out with sodium bicarbonate. By itself or used as a buffer, it can be very effective in a an electrolyte balance, but not in the way that they attach it to the salt that you're taking at your table. Another one, it's called yellow perchlorate of soda, or abbreviated YPS. It's an anti-caking agent. As you know, salt will sometimes cake up and get hard, so they put that in there, or they'll put sodium ferrocyanide. Yep, it's a form of cyanide, and it is extremely hazardous in case of ingestion, dangerous in the case of skin contact or eye contact or an inhalation. But the government allows them to put it in your table salt. The whiter your salt is, that's a hint that the more processed it's been and more of these chemicals are in it. It's supposed to have color, like the one that I give you. Another one, sodium mulinate, sorry. It also is a hazardous in the case of contact with the skin and consumption. Magnesium carbonate, not the same as magnesium. That's a different ingredient. It's more commonly known as magnesia. It's a class 3 hazardous device. The list goes on to more. Calcium silicate, potassium iodide, tricalcium phosphate, dextrose. All of these are registered by the government as class 3 hazardous device ingredients. Don't use typical white table salt. Use the stuff that I supply you in your kit. You can get more of it. It's cheap. It's not expensive. And actually it tastes better. So there's my rant on sodium. So hopefully if you'll take it, you'll do better, you'll feel better, and your body will love you for it. I saw an email of some people talking about the blood kits that you get when you first get your starter kit. Now you can request another one. You want to see what your blood results are after a period of time, but folks, give it some time. Don't do it right away. Don't let your impatience just decide that now's the time to do it. I know it's anxious. I know you want to brag about your numbers, but I would suggest that you do it not sooner than 60 days. It's not expensive. It's $25. Going to a lab is a lot more expensive. But I don't want you to spend $25 and then get a negative test result. So if you get a negative or an unread test result, it is for one reason and one reason only. You did not put enough blood into the sample. So in your kit, you'll get a little vial like this. It's folded up, looks like that. Or actually, it's open when you first get it. I'm sorry. And you'll close it up. So those of you that are on the webinar, you can see me showing a sample of this little vial. This one has been used, and I just showed as a sample. Now, if you look there closely, you'll see that there's a plastic ring. You see that? Now see right where that red dot is in the center, that's where you need to put the droplets of blood. All right? In your kit, you get 2 lancets. Why do I give you 2? Because I know some of you are going to be chicken because you don't want to poke yourself, and you'll barely trigger that lancet and you won't poke your finger hard enough. So I give you another one so that you'll man up. Oh, that's a sexist remark. Let's face it, women can bear pain a lot better than us men can. We'll woman up and stick our finger properly. So really place that lancet against your finger and hear that click. It'll just jab in real quick. Doesn't hurt that much. And what I want you to do is, in the instructions it says to put 5 drops of blood in that little secret, or in that little circle. I personally would put 8. Go overboard. You got the blood to spare. And what you don't want to do is you do not want to touch your finger onto the little, it's like a little cotton dispensary down here. You don't touch your finger or scrape your finger to get the blood off. Don't let the droplet touch anything. It has to freely drop from your finger into the sample. The reason why I say that is because you won't get a full drop when you scrape it off. I know it looks like it does, but it doesn't. And so you got to get a full drop, squeeze it good, and if you don't get it, then poke it again. Get that droplet, get 8 full drop. It asks for 5, but in this case, more is better. Then you will not have a non-reading, and you didn't waste your $25. Then when you're done, let it sit out for a couple of minutes. Let it soak into that white, harder cotton paper, and then close it up. I have a video that gives you details about this, but you put your little barcode sticker on the form, apply it on there, and the other barcodes on the form that you fill out, and you put that in the envelope. The address is right there on the pod. This is called the little pod, and you send it to that address. The test is already paid for. The only thing you got to pay for is a stamp to get it there. And then we get the results, we put it into your file, and then we email it to you. So that's a little bit of information about the pod. I am going to take this opportunity to be a good example and take a drink of water. So those of you, because you should be drinking half your body weight in ounces. So if you're 200 pounds, you need to drink 100 pounds of water minimum. That's not counting the water that's in the CMR. That's additional. So let's all take a water drink. A little hint, don't wait till lunchtime and then just drink half your daily's amount of water. I love water, but boy, drinking it that way is so hard to do. You got to force it down. So this is a little trick. Every 20 minutes, if you'll just do this little trick, 1 drink, 2 drinks, and a third, 3 little mouthfuls of water every 20 minutes, you will have more than the required amount of water before you go to bed. You won't fill up your tummy with water. You won't feel like you're slushing with water. It's a good, even consumption of the water, and you'll be good. You know what I do? In every one of my waters, I put the real salt right inside here, just so I can get a little extra. It makes the water taste better because the water nowadays is filtered so bad that they take all the minerals right out of the water. Now, I don't salt it so much that it's salty tasting, but it just tastes like mountain water when I do that. So a little bit of a suggestion. I'm going to tease someone out there in the 3B family. This person, I will not say who it is, that they are a member of the continental United States, and I heard that this person's methodology for determining which of the programs, which one of the phases do they recommend that a user start on when they start in the 3B program. Do they start out with phase 1 or do they start out with phase 4? Well, what they use as the determining factor is if they don't have any weight to lose, they start them out on phase 4, which is 1 shake a day, and then they have 3 shakes a day, 1 time a week. And then the very next day they go back on phase 1, which is 3 shakes a day, and then the following day they just have 1 shake a day. It's all in the paperwork. Matter of fact, look at this. One thing I was going to show you. All the paperwork's been done. I'll go right to phase 4. Look at that. Here is your 3Believe phase 4 outline for the week. Gives you the instructions of what to do. I'm flipping the paper over for those in audio only land. Gives you your shopping rules to live by. Great content. This will be posted up on the website while I'm here. Look at this. We have phase 1, first week 1, all 3Believe in our colors with all of the information that you've been wanting. This one here is the phase 2. You can see that in the corner, the right corner. And then we have the phase 3 that's listed there. We have the top 5 things that you got to do to be successful. That's all issued. Not to mention that the first 7 days of the protocol, what you will experience, that's already, by the way, on this part, what this top 5 and the first week daily tips is designed to do is for you to experience, or you to know beforehand what's likely to happen to you. This protocol, because it is medically based, proven its effectiveness by over 600 clinical studies. Our particular program is based on 600. There's over 20,000 based on the subject, but ours is based specifically on 600. And so we know what's going to happen almost to the hour. And so we give you an outline. I'm almost done. Hopefully you're excited about it. We're just polishing up. They'll be ready next week. Alongside the printed material of what will happen for the first 7 days, there will be a video attached to it as well. So now your people will have both methods of disseminating the information. One is video, because that's where most people are going to get their information. The other one's reading. And the videos are short. They're less than 2 minutes long. They're informative. The only negative to it is that my picture, my face is on some of it, so I apologize about that. But it'll be a great tool. I mean, can you imagine the tool that will be there for you as you build your business? And for those of you that just want to share the good news, what a great tool. You can send them out individually, but our system will also have a CRM, which is a management system that once they start the protocol, it will automatically go out to them, one a day. What a great thing. That will be the same case for the weekly coaching. It will automatically go out to them. Each week it will be a different one. This is the videos that I'm talking about that we've been working on almost throughout the night. And boy, it is such a powerful tool. At the same time, we've been producing in the same manner these tutorial lessons of how to recruit, what to do, how to say it, what scientifically by specialists in psychology, how people listen. And so we'll have those tools for you. This, I'm telling you, this is a dream come true. You're going to love it. I got off on a tangent there because I got so excited. But that material's there, available. It'll be available next week on the website. Now remember, as they come available, we'll also email it to you. You'll have it sent to you so that you don't have to go on the website and try to find it. It'll be there too, but you'll get it that way. Now, I started out with why don't you want to start someone on phase 4 if they don't have weight to lose? Well, in the case of Minister Chaplain Donald Haynes, he was taking 2 shakes a day, and that is not phase 4. So he didn't have really any weight to lose. He just wanted to feel better. And so if we would have made that recommendation to him, he is not likely to receive this kind of results in 2 weeks. So folks, I always recommend, whether they be an athlete in what seems to be perfect shape, whether they are sickly, whether they have weight issues, whether they were just born, okay, maybe not just born, start them out on phase 1. Their body has to normalize first. If they live in America, the chances are over 80% chance by clinical definition, they are hyperinsulinic and insulin resistant to some level. So the fastest, easiest way to remedy that problem is phase 1. Now, if they're extremely healthy and they're not as bad as some, then they won't have to be in phase 1 as long. I always tell people, plan on being in it for 18 weeks, because the studies show that your pancreas can can be completely rebuilt, as can your liver be defattened in 18 weeks. If you have the worst fatty liver and the worst pancreas, it can be rebuilt in 18 weeks. So I just tell them, plan on, emotionally, just plan on 18 weeks. It's affordable to do. The meal cost is costing you less than $4 a meal. The Gallup poll just reported that the average American is spending $24 a day on food. So you're coming out dollars ahead, and you're already spending money on food now. So that's not even mentioning any commissions that you get if you sign somebody up. So start them out on phase one. It's not the issue of making more money. That's not what I'm talking about. You want to give them the best experience physiologically, emotionally. You want them to see those results right away, or as soon as possible. Let's see it just as a cleanse. And then maybe 2 weeks later, or I'm sorry, after the first month, then they can change back to phase 4 if they feel like it accomplished their goal. But in the beginning, as a food scientist and as 9 years of experience, I strongly recommend that you start them out with phase 1 and then let them choose to go to phase 4. Okay. I'm going through my list here, my cheat sheet that I was asked to go over. Labels. You can see them on my wall in the back. Look at all those beautiful labels. Let me peel one off here. This is the better one. You can see the rolls better. So this is our dinner rolls. Look at that. I asked our art manager where we're at on converting all the previous or other company's brand over to the new one, and we are better than halfway done. That doesn't mean it's going to take us, that much longer. It's just that we had to make the template, and they're about halfway done with all that. That is exciting. Man, that's exciting. So what does that mean? For those of you that want to get the secret code word, that means that as soon as we're done with the labeling, we are out of pre-launch. Yeah. And then we're in full launch. That's exciting. That's very, very cool. And you'll have marketing material and handout brochures and emailable brochures, more than the one that you already have. Which brings us to the next question. I know the pricing was coming in for printed brochures so you can print them. Part of the delay is that I personally didn't like the price. The first one came back and it was 50 cents a copy. I thought that is crazy. So we're going to some different printers. I want to get that cost down as low as possible. And we're not in the printing business. That's why that we're not using it as a profit center and marking it up to you. We'll give it to you at our cost. So that you can have it cheap. Ketosis. Here's a question. Is the 3Believe program a ketosis diet? Explain the meaning of a ketosis diet. Well, are we a ketosis diet? Absolutely. We're a hybrid of ketosis. So let's go over that again. You've heard me use that term. And I'm going to not talk high science here, okay? I'm not going to try to impress you with, big words and stuff. So ketosis is simply a state that your body's in, a state of being. It comes from the word ketone. Now, a ketone is the byproduct of when your body is not burning carbohydrates or glucose as its primary energy source. It's instead burning stored fat. So as it burns a lipid, that's another word for stored fat, as it's burning a lipid, it's a byproduct, it's exhaust, if you will, after it's breaking down that fat cell, are ketones. Now, your body loves ketones because ketones is used by your body just as it uses glucose. In fact, your body, especially your brain, loves ketones. It operates more clearly on ketones. Now, here's an interesting thing. There has been a lot of studies have been done that we can get too much glucose. And you've heard me talk about what happens when we get to, well, we gain weight from it, we get high blood pressure, we get elevated glucose levels, and we get foggy brain, we get some studies are suggesting, it's not conclusive yet, but suggesting that years and years of consumption of high carbohydrates is a precursor to Alzheimer's disease. There are professionals that want to call it type 3 diabetes or diabetes of the brain because of too much glucose. So there's bad things when we get too much glucose. But there's not one single condition nor study that has shown that you get a negative reaction by too many ketones. Your body can eat all the ketones it needs, and it never gets tired of them. So that's a good thing. That's an interesting point. You never hear people talk about that, but it's scientifically true. So a ketosis diet is simply saying a diet that forces your body to live off of ketones, live off your stored fats. Now, what happens when a person is no longer living off of stored fat? They've lost the excess fat, they're at a healthy level of fat, and they don't have enough ketones to supply them. That's why we are a hybrid, meaning we are a ketosis-based diet that is fat adaptive, meaning we replace not only now, but in the future when you burn off those excess fats so that you can continue to burn stored fats, not lose energy, you'll burn the omega fats that we give you. And there is a whole list of good things that come from living off of fats. In fact, studies have shown that a higher ratio of fat to any other macronutrient, meaning carbohydrates and proteins, is a healthier way to be. If, in fact, when you're in our ketosis diet, as we're following the 600 clinical studies, you are over 60% of your calories are coming from the omega fats. What? And yet you're losing weight. How is that possible? How in the world are you able to lose fat when you're following the 3Believe diet program and over 60% of the calories you're getting is from fat? Well, it must be because the previous news that fat makes you fat just isn't true. And we're giving you a very special kind of fat. 2.5 times more omega-3 to how much omega-6 you're getting, and 1-to-1 omega-6 to omega-7, or omega-9, I'm sorry. And so that's why we're a hybrid. So yes, you can tell people we are a ketosis diet, but add this part that is fat adaptive or fat adapting. They'll ask you a question. What in the world does that mean? What a great way to have a conversation. Now, there's other terms, ketosis or ketogenic diet, same thing. Ketogenic diet, just another way of saying the same word. So ketogenic diet, ketosis, low carb, low insulin producing diet, all of those would fall in line. We are an ultra low carbohydrate or ultra high ketosis diet. So hopefully that answers that question, and that satisfies any questions in that category. I think I have covered everything that was on my list. I don't have anything, as by tradition I answer 3 questions from the group. So hopefully we'll get some people chiming in with some questions. Oh, there is one more thing. I'm sorry. There has been some requests that the qualification for the bio kit. Let's take a water break again. Go ahead. If you can see this jar I have, this container is a 74-ounce container. I drink 1.5 of these a day. I just finished I'm a little early. Good. if you enroll 4 people in your first 30 days of enrollment, whether they be a retail customer, an affiliate, or uh, um, a builder, we call them sales reps, then I will credit you back $95 worth of Smart Food credit on any of your orders. And so there's been some requests that that would be made easier. And so because we want you to be successful, we want to make it as simple as possible. It has been requested that we reduce it from 4 to 3, and we will do such. So now, starting now, you'll get an email that you will only have to do 3 your first 30 days instead of 4 in order to earn the credit for Smart Foods to help encourage and pay for the bio kit. Hopefully that'll make some people happy. Also, it was requested that the retail sales was not 25% above the wholesale rate. For example, $300 for phase 1, and 25% would be $375. That it would be $360 or 20%, and we will accommodate that as well. So let me just briefly go through the differences of what a sales rep is, an affiliate is, and a retail customer. So you as a sales rep can enroll an affiliate person, a person that is a retail customer, or another sales rep as your choice. Let the customer, let the individual decide. Explain all the benefits of each, and then let them decide. They can always change. They can switch it up later on. But in the case of a retail customer, they don't want to build a business. They just want to buy the product. They see the benefits of it. It's cheaper than what they get it if they go to a clinic and get the same exact product. So there's an advantage there, and you will get credit on that. And retail just means that they won't have a login. They'll just go on the website and they'll pay the retail price. Now, in the case of an affiliate, there are individuals out there that love things for free, but they are not interested in building the business. So we call them affiliates. They know people that have the same condition. They have the same needs and interests that you do. And so they want to spread the good news, and they want then to get credit for those referrals. So instead of giving them actual dollars, we will give them credit. And we'll just call them 3B dollars, and that will go on their account, and they can get their product for free. So for every, just like them earning a commission, they'll go into their 3Believe bank, and then they can use that to purchase items on the website, and it'll be free for them if they have enough credits to pay for it. What a great way to get product for free and spread the good news at the same time. Then the other one is people can buy wholesale. Now, let me just reiterate. Those that do the retail will pay the retail price, the $360 for phase 1. Those for affiliate, they'll pay the retail price, which is $360, but they'll get credits. They'll never get a check from us, but they'll get credits, okay? And those credits never expire, all right? And then in the case of a sales rep, they get the added benefit of buying it at wholesale for themselves, and then they also can build the business and earn additional income. So those are the 3 distinctions of how they can become involved in 3Believe, and hopefully that is more clear. We'll have more of that detail on the website. Yes, there'll be a video on it too. We're just going to go crazy with videos. Videos are the way to go. So we'll be spitting that up there too. Now let's go to the crowd and see what we have. Okay, Merv, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Oh, good. I was wondering there for a minute if I was just talking in the wind. I'm glad that at least someone did not follow me. Do you know of any
fantastic, fantastic call.
Or is there someone out there that would like to ask one?
Anybody have a question? Now is your time.
Yes, this is Sam. How are you?
Good. Good evening, Sam.
I like the idea of the ketogenic aspect of the diet. That's something I've been doing myself, and it definitely have to have higher fat intake than you do all the other nutrients as you mentioned. The higher ratio, like 2 to 1 or 3 to 1, is the better, the more ketogenic it gets. I haven't seen the label on the omega oils yet. I've seen where it takes 2 pumps and things like that, and I'm very interested in your program. How much oil is actually taken with the diet in order to get you into ketosis?
Okay, good question. I'm going to mute everybody and then so I don't get any background noise. Just to reiterate what Sam said is he agreed. It sounds like he's done some homework with ketogenic diets. Also, it sounds like he's experienced that if you go on a straight ketogenic diet and you do not fortify with omega fats, boy, are you weak. I mean, it's tough. I got to tell you, the cravings and the energy level is tough to go on purely a ketogenic diet. And some of the negative information you get about ketogenic diets is simply that. It just, cravings are kind of crazy and you're weak. And so the fat adapted body and the supplementation of the omega fats is where it solves that problem. Now, what Sam's question was is how much fat do you take and what are the ratios? So our blend is 9 of organic, non-GMO, cold press, plant-based oils, not any fish. And the reason why there's the 9 is to create the ratio of 2.5 times omega-3 to omega-6. It's just because we need more omega-3 because we get too much omega-6 in the foods that we eat out there in the world. It's just a popular oil, and most of the oils that are used are omega-6s and not omega-3s. So our program is to get you back into balance. Also, it's a better type of oil for performance, especially for athletes. And so the amount, now in the formula, we ask you to use 2 pumps, that's 1 tablespoon per shake. Now, if you're in phase 1, that would be 6 pumps a day. Now, I will tell you, you will find and you will see in literature and in video circumstances where we'll increase or suggest that you increase the amount of that oil above the 2 pumps per shake. Let me give an example. I work at the gym. Here it is. It's 8 o'clock at night. I started out at 7 o'clock this morning. I was at the gym at 5. I have long days. I'm 55 years old. Yet I work out just like I did when I was 20 years old. And the way I do it is by making sure my body has the right kind of energy. And so I use 10 to 12 and sometimes when I'm really lifting hard, 15 pumps per shake. And I'll do that 3 times a day. And so the answer to your question is you got to have a minimum of 2 pumps per shake in phase 1. And then you control it by what your body is telling you. So if you feel, for example, let's say that you out there are feeling tired at around 3, 4 o'clock. You're just feeling a little run down, the afternoon blues. Then what that's telling you is that 1, you always want to look and see if you've drank your water. That's the first sign of lower energy. Second is that you're not properly supplied with sodium. So just check, did you take one in the morning, to take one the night before? Then the third one is that you're in a high level of ketosis and you just need a little bit of a boost of some omega fat. You'll actually burn more body fat if you have omega fat there with you. It just makes your liver more efficient. And so to solve that 3, 4 o'clock afternoon blues, add 1 pump to your lunch shake. Now, if you're not having a shake at lunch, then just take 1 or 2 pumps in your mouth on a spoon. It doesn't taste bad. It tastes a little nutty flavor, and swallow it down. That will give you the energy about 2, 3, 4 for 4 hours later. A great way to energize. So you don't have to add an extra pump to every meal. Do it prior to the one where you're experiencing the lag of energy. And that's the rule of how you'll increase. You'll find your magic spot where you're going, well, you know what? Jason told me a total of 3, but you know what? I find that 4 is my better spot. And that's how you meter how much of the omega oil. You got to be intuitive with the body, and we actually have lessons on how to do that more succinctly. But great question. Did that answer the question, Sam?
Yes, thank you. That's excellent. And you're right about my ketogenic. I've been using more coconut oils and things like that, and I do have the omega-3s, but I like the fact that you provide it already balanced properly. That's because that's a tricky thing to do.
Good. You know, it is a tricky thing to do and have it taste good. You know, Sam brought up another point that I'll just elaborate on. Omega, or the coconut fat is probably one of the glory fats right now. It's getting a lot of news, both good and bad. It's a very popular, and primarily because it just tastes good. Now you have 2 different types of forms. You'll get the coconut fat that's a solid. It looks like Crisco. Remember back in the day, or lard, when mom used to cook with lard, which actually is not a bad fat at all. It's a good fat in moderation. Much better than margarine. Never use lard 10 times over margarine. Anyway, that's one form. That is pure coconut fat. It's the one that's solid. You can warm it up and melt it, and then it's clear, but it's solid at room temperature. When you see MCT, which stands for medium chain triglyceride, that is a coconut fat in its natural state from the coconut. About, depending when they picked it, 30 to 45% of that coconut fat is MCT. Now, it's a liquid at room temperature. That's the convenience. And so a lot of people will take that. However, MCT is mostly omega-6. So I'm not saying it's a bad fat. It's just that if you're trying to balance out that ratio and you're taking hyper amounts of the coconut fat in the liquid clear form, you're actually throwing the balance of omega-6 even more out of proportion. So I put omega-6, I'm sorry, I put MCT in our formula. So I'm giving that coconut oil to you, but I'm keeping the ratio at the right amount. So keep that in mind, those out there, and continue the good work. Any other questions? Number 2.
Jason?
Yes.
Jason, Bob Price, can you hear me? Okay.
Hello, Mr. Bob Price. I do hear you.
Hey, how you doing, Jason? Yeah, I have just a question I didn't know about. I called in for Friday for shipment, and they say they do most of the shipment of your goods or your products for the baked goods and stuff then. And I didn't know if there's a way that we could still send out the powder and the mixes at that same time on Friday.
I'm getting a little bit about feedback, but let me reiterate your question and you answer if I got it right. You're asking about the shipping times as it relates to Friday, and if we can ship out our the meal replacement powder at the same time that we ship out the food. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Let me mute because I'm getting a little bad feedback. Okay. We have a little bit unique situation in our company with shipping because it's most convenient to ship the CMR powdered shake and the oil that we just were talking about at the same time if you've ordered any smart foods. Why? Well, because I want you to save the maximum amount on shipping. I don't want you to have two separate shipments, because then we can't maximize the savings. Most of you know that you save more the heavier the product is. The price per ounce goes down the heavier you go. So we want to go as heavy as possible. But we also have another thing that we have to deal with, is because we're shipping whole foods, not in the case of the powder or the oil, we don't want it sitting on your doorstep, or should I really say, I don't want it sitting in the yard or some terminal over the weekend. And especially now in these hot summer days, and where it can get up to 150, 180 degrees in some of these buildings. They don't air condition them. And so we kind of look at where you're at. We know how many days it takes to get there. And so what we ask, if you want to combine your order with any Smart Foods along with your CMR powder and your oil, then make your order in advance. Get it into us right away. If you can get it into us like over the weekend or even on a Friday, then you know we're going to ship it out on Monday or Tuesday of the following week. That way, it's going to get there in time where it's not going to be sitting in a warehouse or sitting in some terminal over the weekend. I'm not going to delay it because I know that you won't be happy if he comes back and, you know, like he ordered the pizza and it looks like some awful, you know, creation from Mars. So order in advance, plan ahead so that we can send you the quality product that you expect. That answer your question, Bob?
Yes, but I want to see if we can get the powder. If we ordered, let's say Thursday, and would they ship out the powder on Friday? I heard Marlo said that they don't ship powder out either on Friday.
No, we can ship it out. Maybe she might have been confused just because she's been told that if there's any Smart Foods with it, that we want to delay that to the following week. But we can ship out. I'll make sure that all of the shipping department has that in their plans. But yes, we can. Sometimes it happens that we forget and we're going to run out of our powder and our oil and we don't want to, so we don't want to wait even 3 or 4 days. You want to get it out faster, absolutely call in, tell us that you want it shipped out right away, you're running out. When we hear, it's almost like we have a siren with red lights go off in the plant when someone says, I'm going to run out, I'm going to run out tomorrow, please ship it today. We really do take that seriously and we get that out to you, because I don't want you going without the food. Not because I want to sell more product. It's really, I know what it's like when I run out, and I don't want your body to go without. It really kills me if I happen to go on a trip and I check my bag and my shake is in my suitcase and it's been delayed or shipped to another city. I'm telling you, I'm stressing. I do not like that when that happens. So, anybody else? Third question.
Yeah, this is Marion Thompson from San Antonio. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can. What was your first name?
Okay, Marion. And actually, I'm the one that signed up Brother Don Haynes with the testimony, and I hadn't even heard it yet. But what I wanted to ask you is, first of all, I'm glad you're a Christian. I do believe in the young earth like you do, and I think evolution is a big blob. So I'm pleased to hear that, because that shows you have more wisdom than the average person. But here's my question. There's just a limited amount of the hydration tablets that we get, and also a limited amount of the omega oils. And from what you just said a few minutes ago, it would behoove us to be able to have access to more hydration tablets and more omega oils. So do we order that separately? And how do you? It says also to refrigerate it. And when you're at a gym or you're somewhere else, you're not going to be taking something out of the refrigerator, I wouldn't think. And how do you get around that if you're not your house?
Excellent question. Okay, let's go over those. Yes, you can get extra. There's so many different people's lifestyles, level of exercise, condition of health, and so what we've done just through experience, we provide everyone in the starter kit the amount of hydrate capsules to get them started and really to get them hooked. Physiologically, get them hooked. Emotionally, they're sold. They're going, okay, I know, wow. I believe now that the hydration, the electrolytes is needed. I feel better with it. And then you just reorder more. You have to request it because I take between 4 and 6 of those a day because I'm sweating so much at the gym and working out. So I take more. But not everybody is my situation, so I don't want to automatically put that in everybody's order. The same is the case with the oil. The oil is based on taking 2 pumps as it regulates to a month supply. So in most situations based on 2 pumps, you'll go through 1 bottle a month if you're on phase 1. If you're on phase 4 or phase 2, it will last longer than that. This is what I recommend to people. After you're convinced that it works for you, buy an extra bottle of the oil and have it sitting in either in your fridge or freeze it. A cool fact about oil, it's the only liquid that if you freeze it, it contracts, it does not expand. You don't have to worry about breaking the bottle. Kind of cool. So just freeze it, and then when you're ready for it, pop it back in the fridge. Then you'll never run out, and if you end up learning that you need more oil, you prefer more oil, then you'll have that extra oil available. In the case of refrigeration, don't be so dogmatic about refrigerating the oil every second. That's not necessary. I want you to refrigerate it for long-term purposes. For example, 1 bottle in phase 1 is going to last you a month. I want you to refrigerate it from day 1 to day 30 because what happens is that if you set it on your counter, it's going to be exposed to light. There's a reason why I put it in a dark bottle. Partly that will restrict some of the light. The light can degrade the quality, the ultraviolet light can degrade the quality of omega fats. That's one reason why I put it in a dark bottle. If you refrigerate it, it accomplishes 2 tasks. 1, it's definitely out of sunlight. It's not exposed to any light at all because it's in the fridge. 2, it just preserves the oils for a longer period of time. Now, some of you won't use it up in a month. It might be in there for 2 or 3 months. So it just preserves it. If you're going on a trip, so when I'm traveling with my oil, I'll take an 8 ounce because we have a 32 ounces what you get in your starter kit. Okay. Then we have a 16 ounce. Then we have an 8 ounce. I love the 8 ounce for traveling because I'm not gone as long that I need a 32 ounce, and it's just easier to transport. And I'm traveling and it's not going to be refrigerated for 8 or 10, 12 hours. That's okay. That's all right. Just put it back in a cooler when you get to the hotel. Is it going to go rancid? No. Is it not going to work for you? No. So you don't have to keep it in there every hour. If you're taking it, for example, what we'll have people do is they'll make their shake in the morning. And they'll take their oil and they'll just pump it into the powder, the dry powder without adding any water, and they'll take that to work. And then when it comes lunchtime, they just throw in some ice and some water. That's fine. Okay. It'd be best if you don't let that shaker bottle sit out on your sill at work and soak up all the ultraviolet light. It's just in optimum conditions, keep the oil refrigerated for longer periods of time. Turn on the cap so that the oxygen's not to it. Oxygen, like all things, can oxidize, and it shortens the lifespan of any ingredient. And so let's try to preserve it. But you don't have to just absolutely be so precise with the cold every minute of the day. Great, great question. And yes, most certainly I am a Christian. Any questions? Did I finish that one?
Yeah, yes, sir, you did. But it was about a month and a half ago. I'm the one that had also asked you about, being on. You said you were on the product for a year, and then you had the blood test. I thought that was the greatest testimony I've heard on any of the testimonies. But there was one question that I wasn't clear on. When you took that product for the CMR for a year, did you eat very many other foods, or were you just testing it, experimenting, and just strictly ate that? And I'm dying to find out.
You might find this a little bit odd, but I'm I'm a food scientist. I'm also the creator of this, so I had some ulterior motives. But I was actually on it for 18 months, so a year and a half on nothing but water, the oil, and the shake, and that's it. Not even the smart food.
Wow. And you had perfect blood. That's what your doctor told you when he gave you the blood test.
That's exactly right. He said, even more so, he said in 30 years of medicine, or nearly 30 years, I've never seen it. At school, when they taught us about what blood should be, they showed us an example where those markers should be. I'd never seen any in any of my patients' blood that was perfect, and you're the first one. So
wow.
I was looking for him to give me a little medal. I wanted a medal or a little tiny, trophy or something, but he didn't have it.
I'll send you one. And look, I'm looking at you on the webinar. First time I've seen how you look on the webinar. You're a great looking guy. So don't condemn yourself. But I think that's the greatest testimony I've ever heard in my life. And I wanted to give you. I don't know what size the medal is you want. If you want one of those Olympic medals that are made out of gold, I'm sorry I can't afford it, but I will send you a medal.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it very much. I'm doing lots of testing all the time, and it's because of all of you. You inspire me greatly. Your testimonies inspire me. I can't tell you how I'm moved with them. It really does emotionally and spiritually, intellectually motivate me to do a better job. And I'm doing a test right now that I'll introduce to you. It's a different form of intermittent fasting, which is part of our protocol, and I'm testing that out. Some pretty good studies have been done on it, so I'm seeing how it can be adapted to us. But I'm really here for you. This is not a hobby for me. This is truly a way of life. It's a passion of love, and really, honestly, it's a passion of service. I do it because I have a need to serve. And I believe that with all of you, we can actually, realistically, eradicate the symptoms of metabolic syndrome in our lifetime. Physiologically, it's been proved that we can do it. In fact, studies have been shown that if we got everybody in the United States, now I know that it's impossible to do all at one time, but if we got 360 million people all to start the 3Believe protocol tomorrow, okay? Now, the studies that I referred to, they didn't do it on the 3Believe. They did it on a ketogenic fat adaptive diet, okay? Not even one that was as strict as ours. They showed that the symptoms of metabolic syndrome is over in 18 weeks. Isn't that amazing? Talk about a blessing. We could wipe it out. We can completely, it'd be gone in a short period of time. So I'm telling you, don't be shy. I'm amazed about the news about Agent Orange. I never even thought about what it might be in that situation. What a wonderful thing that our Creator has provided for us in the form of macro and micronutrients. What amazing healing combination. So,
hallelujah.
Yep, that definitely is reason to praise and be grateful. So I sign off this evening. I appreciate your confidence and your continued support. Spread the good news. Don't be shy about it. It can only help them. If anything, it'll just save them money because they're spending more than $3 and some odd cents a meal. And keep up the good work. I'm signing off for this evening. God bless you all, and good night.
That's all you've had. Love it.
Good night. Super call.
Yes.
It was a good one. Good one. Good night, everybody.
Good night,
God bless
Merv. You did a
all.
good job too. God bless.
Yeah. Yeah. Good night.